Good evening and welcome to the Guyana Tv9 News Bulletin for Thursday, January 15, 2026. I'm Adana Doric. Millions up in flames as Monrepo furniture warehouse destroyed in afternoon fire. Guyana's foreign-born population hits record high in 2022 census. President Ali welcomes new Greek-built ferry to bolster Guyana's maritime fleet. Grieving mother believes jealousy drove city guest house murder-suicide. Politics is not a get-out-of-extradition card, Nandlal warns Mohammeds. Now for the news in depth. Propelled by 4 decades of steady growth, Guyana's foreign-born population reached a historic peak in 2022, accounting for 3.07% of the nation's total inhabitants. While this demographic remains a relatively small segment of the population, latest census data confirmed it is the highest proportion ever recorded in the country's history. More from Colin Abrams.
Preliminary data from the 2022 Guyana Population Housing Census shows Guyana's foreigner-born population continues to account for a relatively small share of the national population, despite the steady increase over the past 4 decades, according to the census data on overseas migration. In 1980, foreign-born residents accounted for less than 1% of the total population. This figure declined to 0.54% in 1991, before rising to 1.26% in 2002. The 2022 census recorded the highest proportion to date, with foreign-born nationals comprising 3.07% of the total enumerated population. The foreign-born population includes persons who are not Guyanese by birth but reside in Guyana, including those who have obtained citizenship through naturalization. In contrast, locals are defined as individuals born in Guyana or born abroad to Guyanese parents. Despite the increase, the foreign-born population remains modest in size. Officials noted that the 2022 figures may understate the true number of foreign-born residents, as some individuals may have been reluctant to be enumerated or registered in administrative systems. The data also reflect temporal variability in migration patterns, similar to fluctuations seen in the overall national population. Trends observed since the 1980 census suggest that Guyana may have served primarily as a transit point for migrants over the past 5 decades rather than a long-term destination. Researchers have indicated that further study is needed to better understand overseas migration patterns and their implications on the country's demographic and development planning. The data suggests that while overseas migration to Guyana is increasing, the foreign-born population remains small enough that it is unlikely to place significant pressure on social services or the labor market in the short term. However, the steady rise, particularly the increase recorded in 2002, signals the need for improved migration monitoring, registration, and policy planning. The possibility of undercounting also highlights gaps in data collection and integration, underscoring the importance of more detailed research to better understand whether Guyana is transitioning from a transit point to a long-term destination for migrants, and what this may mean for national development and workforce planning. Calvin Abrams, Guyana TV9 News.
President Dr. Irfan Ali on Wednesday inspected a newly acquired Greek-built ferry, hailing the vessel's self-powered transatlantic journey as a testament to the quote-unquote strength and seaworthiness of Guyana's latest maritime investment. Built in 2004, the large-capacity ferry is set to transform inter-regional connectivity and significantly bolster the nation's transport infrastructure.
President Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali explained that salt water observed inside the vessel was a result of the long voyage and assured that comprehensive cleaning and preparation would be completed before the ferry is officially deployed. Once ready, the vessel will be assigned primarily to serve Region 1, a route that remains critical for the movement of residents, goods, and essential services between hinterland communities and the coast. President Ali also referred to the government's previous installation of a vessel in the area, noting that earlier investments helped to stabilize ferry services for Region 1. He said the newly acquired ferry builds on those efforts by increasing capacity and improving the overall quality, safety, and reliability of transportation in the region. The president further outlined the administration's broader maritime development plans, noting that Region 7 has also requested an additional vessel. Authorities are currently reviewing other vessels available on the market to meet that demand.
This is a vessel 2004 year of made, so almost a brand new vessel that sailed on its own power from Greece to Guyana. So that is why you will see the salt water that came in. All of this will be cleaned on this floor before the vessel is deployed to Region 1 and other areas, but specifically designed for Region 1.
He added that over the next 3 years, the government intends to replace old vessels across the fleet to ensure that all regions benefit from a consistent and modern level of service. The acquisition forms part of the government's wider strategy to modernize transport infrastructure, strengthen interregional connectivity, and support economic and social development across Ghana's riverine and hinterland regions.
So we are in the process of reviewing some other vessels that are available on the market so that we can have another vessel there. So incrementally over the next 3 years, we'll also be looking at replacing all the older vessels so we can have the same level of service in all the regions. So I'm going to ask...
The recently commissioned MV Kanawaruk 1899 represents another key investment in strengthening Ghana's maritime transport network. The vessel was introduced to enhance river transportation services, improving reliability, safety, and efficiency for passengers and cargo along critical island routes. Its commissioning forms part of the government's ongoing program to modernize the national ferry fleet and expand access to riverine and hinterland communities. Pawan Abrams, Ghana TV9 News.
Grief, unanswered questions, and a mother's heartbreak now sit at the center of a tragic murder-suicide that has shaken Georgetown. As police continue investigations into the death of 31-year-old Loretta Sonia Cyrus and her former partner, her mother is speaking publicly for the first time, convinced jealousy and control ended her daughter's life. Colin Abrams reports.
Right? So she tell me, she said, Mommy, don't wash. I said, I got to wash them. I got to wash them clothes. She said, Mommy, don't wash it. When I come back this month here. I want to do it for you. Don't fight up yourself. You know well. And I said, okay. And when the last word I tell her when she goes, I said, Lord, be careful. That's what I always tell her. I said, Lord, be careful of my case and come back. Not knowing that was the last. Not knowing that was the last of seeing and hearing from a child.
Those were the anguished words of Minerva Sanko, a grieving mother trying to understand how her daughter's life ended so violently is always something. Loretta Sonia Cyrus, 31, and her former partner, Cyril Saul, were found dead in separate rooms at a guest house on Lime Street, Wortmanville, Georgetown on Tuesday. Police say the circumstances point to a suspected murder-suicide and investigations are ongoing. Cyrus had recently left her family home in Rose Hall Town, Berbice, to start anew in the city. She had found work, was rebuilding her life, and according to her mother, was determined to leave behind toxic relationships. Speaking through tears, Sanko said Loretta had a pattern of walking away when relationships became unhealthy and believed she was doing the same this time. She recalled that her daughter had recently mentioned a new relationship, initially describing the man as calm and respectful. But that optimism, the mother said, quickly faded as jealousy and control began to surface.
She never told me that he ever hit her or so. I don't know if she ever told anybody else, but she never told me that, and I never see her body with the last time she comes, she skin smooth and nice. Ask anybody ever is admire her. Right? She never.
You went to see the body?
I couldn't have gone, my son gone down.
He told you like what injury she got?
No, he ain't come back as yet. He gone this morning.
Sanko said Loretta never reported physical abuse, but now believes her daughter was trapped emotionally. Unable to escape a partner, she says, became possessive and controlling. Friends and colleagues have described Loretta as quiet, gentle, and kind-hearted, a young woman who avoided conflict and focused on moving forward with her life. Overcome with grief, her mother questioned why her daughter was not allowed that chance.
What could come out of this? You tell me. He is gone. She is gone. What could come out of this?
What advice you would give to other young women or men in city?
Don't judge a book by its cover. And look before you leap. Right? Because, and then again, all that guitars is not cool. Then I said to her, I said, girl, I said, girl, why is it that he got deported? It got to be something make him deported.
In her pain, Sanko issued a warning to young women and men, urging them to look beyond first impressions, to recognize warning signs early, and to take control seriously. Loretta, the youngest of 3 siblings, leaves behind a shattered family, now grappling with sudden loss. Her mother, already dealing with her own health challenges, described the tragedy as unbearable. One she says no parent should ever endure. As police continue piecing together the final hours of Loretta's life, her family hopes her story will spark a deeper awareness about the dangers of jealousy, emotional control, and relationships that turn deadly. Colwyn Abrams, Ghana TV9 News.
A massive fire tore through the 401 furniture store warehouse at Lot 40 South Monrepo, East Coast Demerara on Wednesday afternoon, completely destroying the bond and leaving losses estimated in the millions of dollars. According to owner Nazim Khan, the blaze was accidentally sparked shortly after lunch when workers attempted to remove bees from the facility. The warehouse, which housed imported furniture and mattresses, was fully engulfed just one day after a 40-foot container of goods had been offloaded. Firefighters responded swiftly and managed to contain the fire to the warehouse, preventing it from spreading to nearby structures. Several neighboring homes suffered minor damage, but no injuries were reported. The store is located along the main public road. Authorities are continuing assessments and a detailed report is expected to follow. More news on the other side of the break. Stay tuned.
Want to place your death announcements and in memoriam messages on Channel 9? Call 592-761-5006, 710-5008, 600-5006. Or visit our office at Lot 85A Lamaha Street, Albertown, Georgetown, Century 21 Building.
GCOM is currently conducting a claims and objections exercise to produce an official list of electors, OLE. Anyone who became 18 years or older on December 31, 2025 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, or naturalization, or a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more, you are eligible for inclusion in the OLE. GCOM has posted the preliminary list of electors, PLE, in all of the registration divisions across Guyana for you to check if you are listed, and if so, whether your particulars are accurate. If you have changed your address since you were registered, you need to visit the GCOM registration office responsible for your new area of residence to apply for a transfer. Sunday, January 18, 2026 is the last day you can apply for a transfer during this exercise. For more information, contact GCOM on 225-0278-9 or visit www.gcom.org.gy.
Guyana is stepping into the future of healthcare. As part of the Government of Guyana's digital transformation agenda, the Ministry of Health invites you to be part of history at the launch of the National Electronic Health Record System and Health Fair, happening this Saturday, January 17th, 2026 from 9 a.m. at the Festival City Polyclinic. This revolutionary e-health system puts your health in your hands, securely storing your medical information and making it available when you need it most. It means better care, faster service, continuity in treatment, and the ability to book appointments online, anytime, anywhere. And that's not all. As part of the launch, enjoy free health services including blood sugar and random blood sugar testing, BMI checks, dental examinations, adult vaccinations, HIV and STI testing with counseling and treatment, eye screening, and men's and women's health education. The National Blood Transfusion Service will also be on site for those ready to give the gift of life. So, come early and be part of the movement. Register for eHealth. Get screened. Stay informed. The launch of the National Electronic Health Record System and Health Fair this Saturday at 9 a.m. at the Festival City Polyclinic, Blue Mountain and Aubrey Barker Roads, Festival City, North Rheinfeldt.
Welcome back. You're watching the Guyana TV9 News Bulletin. Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs Anil Nandlal on Wednesday strongly dismissed claims of political prosecution made by the Mohammeds, describing their legal challenge to Guyana's extradition process as quote-unquote absurd. Here is more.
Speaking outside the High Court after a full day of hearings on Wednesday, Nandlal said Acting Chief Justice Ravinder Singh heard arguments in two separate proceedings filed by the Mohammeds, a constitutional motion challenging provisions of the Fugitive Offenders Act and an application for judicial review seeking to halt the extradition process entirely. The judicial review application, the Attorney General explained, asks the court to quash the Home Affairs Minister's authority to proceed with extradition, nullify the arrest warrant and magistrates' court proceedings, and permanently terminate the extradition process. The applicants argue that the entire executive branch, including the President, Vice President, Attorney General, and the Minister of Home Affairs, is biased against them. According to Nandlal, the applicant submitted dozens and dozens of pages of affidavits alleging political prosecution, citing excerpts from speeches and press conferences by senior government officials as proof of bias against Azharuddin Mohammed.
As I said to the court, that case is predicated on a theory that is absurd. I put before the court detailed evidence of what activities the Mohammeds were engaged in prior to, before 2020. But first of all, I should begin by saying that they filed dozens and dozens of pages of affidavits to say that they are politically persecuted, that the government is biased against them.
He said the court was also shown the government's response to U.S. Office of Foreign Assets Control, OFAC, sanctions imposed on the Mohammeds, stressing that Guyana's position has consistently been to protect the national economy, safeguard the financial system, and cooperate fully with the United States in keeping with international anti-money laundering and counterterrorism financing obligations. The Attorney General Ford argued that claims of political prosecution only emerged in 2025 after the extradition request was already anticipated and publicly known. He noted that it was only after then that one of the Mohammeds entered active politics and later announced plans to contest the elections.
That they knew that this extradition request was coming. They knew that the sanctions were going to be accompanied by something else, and that would have been the extradition request. And then they get involved in politics. And then later become the political rival of the PPP. Now the PPP goes back into government. They hold up that to say that the government and them are political competitors, are political foes, and therefore they should not be extradited. That can't be the law of any country, as I've said elsewhere.
On the issue of alleged bias, Nandlal emphasized that the extradition process is a statutory and executive function. He said the Home Affairs Minister complied fully with the law and that bias has no role to play in issuing an authority to proceed. Nandlal further argued that both cases before the court are premature and amount to an abuse of process, since challenges should properly arise after committal proceedings in the magistrates' courts, not before. The Chief Justice is expected to deliver a substantive ruling on February 2, while committal proceedings before the magistrate are scheduled for February 5 and 6. Nandlal expressed concern about delays at the magistrate's level, alleging that the defense team has been unresponsive to attempts to secure an earlier hearing date.
As Guyana prepares to enforce stricter vehicle tint regulations this April, the National Road Safety Council is warning that excessive tint is a direct threat to road safety. Coordinator Ramona Dorjan tells Ghana TV9 News that the council's stance is rooted in saving lives, as the Ministry of Home Affairs prepares to implement the $30,000 fine starting from April 1, 2026.
National Road Safety Council Coordinator Ramona Durjan is making the council's position clear. Heavy tint is a hazard. The council maintains its support for the standard of 35% tint and 65% visibility, ensuring drivers remain clearly visible to others on the road. Durjan also reiterated the council's no tint stance for front windscreens, warning that dark films significantly impair a driver's vision, especially during heavy rainfall or low light conditions. While local statistical links between tint and crashes are still being studied, Durden says observational evidence is undeniable. Restricted visibility leads to delayed reactions and preventable accidents.
We were always comfortable with the 35% dark and the 65% visibility because with that level of tint, you can actually see the person in the vehicle like the loss of the honestly.
Yes.
Right? But I do not disagree with the Ministry of Home Affairs and Government of Guyana, allowing the play field to be what is fair. I don't disagree with them. I agree with them that tint permits should be given out. They did made a percentage that is suitable to them and the country. But we are still saying that we agree with them, no tint on the front window screen because people cannot see. And that a lot of times I think that might have been the cause of accidents. We have never tested it.
This push for transparency aligns with new enforcement policies from the Ministry of Home Affairs. Starting April 1, 2026, following a 3-month amnesty period, a $30,000 fine will be levied per vehicle for illegal tint. Crucially, the law targets both the user and the provider. Not only are drivers liable, but businesses that install illegal tint will also face penalties. Durjan points out that beyond road safety, excessive tint is a security risk. It hampers crime detection, undermines traffic camera enforcement, and makes it nearly impossible to identify drivers during hijackings or hit and runs.
And for crime and things like that, it was really, really good that you don't have too much of dark tint because it might look, you might have a problem now saying, oh, the sun is so hot, skin cancer, so many things happening to us, migraines and all these things. But think about the incident if your car was hijacked. You would have glad that you didn't have on that tint that people could see who's driving that car. Another thing is that we got to ensure that the level of tint that we have on the vehicles is in keeping with those cameras that we are prosecuting people with. Because once you and I think that was one of the reasons that the ministry and the minister would have said that no tint on the front window screen. But I would advise drivers for my own safety, I would put a level of tint that people can see who's driving their car in the front. That's our my view on things.
As the deadline approaches, the council is urging road users to prioritize personal responsibility. Durgen is reminding motorists and pedestrians alike to rely on the 5 C's of road safety: care, courtesy, consideration, caution, and common sense. Drivers are encouraged to respect all road signals and markings and to reduce speeds immediately when weather conditions deteriorate. The message is simple: even if your tint is legal, your behavior must adapt to the road to keep Guyana's streets
So we
safe.
would ask the drivers to use the 5 C's, look at the signs, the signals and the markings on the roadways, do not speed. If there is a sign that's saying you have to go 80, the rain is falling, you can slow down, use your own initiatives, be courteous to other drivers, use your common sense in times, even though the law is saying that you should do this, you need to use your common sense where you can avoid and detect and avoid accidents and crashes from happening.
Faith Sandy, Guyana TV9 News.
In a major move to modernize local governance, Minister Priya Manikchand has announced the launch of a new mobile application designed to put power directly into the hands of citizens. Speaking to residents at Canal Number 1 Polder, the minister revealed that the platform will provide a direct line to the government for reporting infrastructure damage and waste management issues.
Speaking about the initiative, Minister Manikchand explained that the ministry has already developed an app. Residents will be able to submit issues ranging from broken roads and flooded yards to uncollected garbage or poorly maintained bridges, providing a direct channel for reporting concerns to the government.
We are creating currently, we've already created an app. What we've done is you can go on this, you can say, and we'll give it to you all just now. My problem is a bridge that has too high a slope, or the road that's broken, or my yard that's flooded, or the garbage that hasn't been picked up.
The minister emphasized that all reported issues will be addressed centrally, ensuring that responses are coordinated and timely. The digital platform is intended to strengthen engagement with citizens while enabling more efficient problem solving by connecting local concerns directly to the government authorities, and it's currently being tested.
The response is, John, we get your message. We're looking at it currently. We have done this, so we'll actually call you back. We have spoken to Public Works. This is what they said they have to do. That's what we're building out right now. We're in the process of testing it.
This innovative platform represents a step forward in modernizing public service delivery, empowering residents to have a direct voice in governance, and promoting transparency and accountability in addressing community needs. Faith Sandy, Guyana TV9 News.
Karasubai is set for a major transformation as the government injects $993 million to upgrade its airstrip, creating jobs for 50 residents. The Ursin Strip will become a 3,000-foot by 50-foot concrete runway, 8 inches thick, with 50 navigational lights for emergency night landings. Construction starts January 19th and will finish in just 75 days under a community participation model. Minister of Public Works Bishop Juan Edchill and the SPU head Colin Giddings say the project will boost the local economy, improve safety, and enhance access to services. The road to Latham will be upgraded, and the village will receive a new terminal building, giving Karasubai modern infrastructure and a bold leap into development. More news on the other side of the break. Stay tuned.
GCOM is currently conducting a claims and objections exercise to produce an official list of electors, OLE. Anyone who became 18 years or older on December 31, 2025 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, or naturalization, or a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more, you are eligible for inclusion in the OLE. GCOM has posted the preliminary list of electors, PLE, in all of the registration divisions across Guyana for you to check if you are listed, and if so, whether your particulars are accurate. You can make a claim for registration, change or correction to your particulars, or you can object to the inclusion of anyone who you believe should not be on the list. If you are desirous of making a claim or objection, you must visit the GCOM registration office responsible for your area of residence to do so. Visit the GCOM registration office responsible for your area of residence to conduct any of the above transactions. All GCOM registration offices will open Mondays to Fridays from 8 to 18 hours, Saturdays and Sundays from 10 to 14 hours. For more information, contact the GCOM on 225-0278-9 or visit www.gcom.org.gy. GCOM is currently conducting a claims and objections exercise to produce an official list of electors, OLE. Anyone who became 18 years or older on December 31, 2025 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent or naturalization, or a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more, you are eligible for inclusion in the OLE. GCOM has posted the preliminary list of electors, PLE, in all of the registration divisions across Guyana for you to check if you are listed, and if so, whether your particulars are accurate. If you have changed your address since you were registered, you need to visit the GCOM registration office responsible for your new area of residence to apply for a transfer. Sunday, January 18, 2026 is the last day you can apply for a transfer during this exercise. For more information, contact the GCOM on 225-0278-9 or visit www.gcom.org.gy.
Welcome back. You're watching Guyana TV9 News Bulletin. Schools across Guyana are set to undergo comprehensive evaluations and will soon receive public report cards measuring their overall performance, marking a major shift toward transparency and accountability in the education system. More in the story.
Speaking on the Starting Point podcast, Minister Parag highlighted the significant investments made by the People's Progressive Party Civic PPPC government over the past 5 years, including the expansion and modernization of school infrastructure, increased capacity building opportunities for teachers, and greater access to learning materials and financial resources. She stressed that these investments must result in stronger student outcomes. Under her leadership, the education sector must continue to evolve, she said, noting that the Ministry of Education is adopting new approaches to ensure schools are performing and being held accountable. She revealed that this will be the first time schools receive formal performance report cards, with implementation possible as early as this year following the completion of the National Grade 6 Assessment and GS8.
But we also have to look at moving these schools from one stage to the next. You have A-list schools, you have B-list schools, you have national schools. And so we have to look at how these schools perform. So a report card for the schools is different than a report card for the individual student. So this report card is going to be based on the performance of that school overall.
She added that the report cards could also serve as a powerful tool to encourage schools to confront weaknesses and take decisive steps towards improvement.
Necessarily, when you're evaluating on performance, another school might say, well, this school is doing well. I am going to try to get to that point.
It's an incentive.
So
to
it is an
improve.
incentive to improve. And it's an encouragement, I'll say, to improve. And so we are going to introduce that. But it's not only that. It is also because we need to have schools perform.
According to the Education Minister, the initiative is designed to give parents a clearer and more comprehensive picture of school performance. Rather than focusing solely on top-performing students or teachers, the evaluations will consider a range of variables that reflect the overall effectiveness of each institution, with appropriate rankings applied. Ultimately, Minister Parag said students deserve to learn in environments that are constantly improving, ensuring they are well prepared for their future roles in Guyana's national development and the wider world.
I can't be sitting at in this sector, at the helm of this sector, and then we are lagging. We have to look at all areas and how we can improve on those areas.
So when can we see the first report card?
Hopefully, we'll be able to develop it by the time NGSA is completed.
Donna Dorek and TV9 News.
For communities whose rivers, forests, and livelihoods are directly shaped by mining, the government of Guyana has sent a clear message. Illegal operations will no longer be ignored. Here is more.
Under the direction of President Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali, a coordinated enforcement effort led by the Ministry of Natural Resources, the Guyana Geology and Mines Commission (GGMC), and the Guyana Police Force has officially begun, marking the implementation of a zero-tolerance policy against mining operations operating outside the law. Authorities say recent inspections uncovered several small and medium-scale mining operations functioning without the required license and approvals, activities that threaten not only the country's natural resources but also the safety, fairness, and sustainability of the sector. As a result, multiple operations have been seized, minerals detained, and legal proceedings initiated against offenders. President Ali underscored that the move is not punitive for its own sake, but protective, aimed at ensuring that mining remains a lawful and sustainable source of income for Guyanese families while preserving the environment for future generations. According to the president, the government remains firmly committed to protecting Guyana's natural resources and ensuring that all mining activities operate in full compliance with national laws. He emphasized that a zero-tolerance stand is critical to fostering a fair, responsible, and sustainable mining sector in the country. Officials stressed that the current enforcement action is only the beginning. Similar operations will be rolled out across the country as part of a broader effort to eliminate illegal and illicit mining practices and restore confidence in the regulatory system. The Ministry of Natural Resources is urging miners to regularize their operations and comply with statutory requirements, warning that those who continue to operate unlawfully will face serious legal consequences. Adana Dorek, Ghana TV9 News.
Now for some regional news out of Venezuela. A 15-year-old Venezuelan girl was brutally attacked and raped by two men in El Socorro on Wednesday evening. She was walking home from a friend's place around 10:30 p.m. when the suspects, armed with a knife, confronted her and demanded her handbag containing an $800 Samsung A14 cell phone. They then took her to an open yard near an apartment where they sexually assaulted her. The victim managed to escape and flagged down a taxi, which took her to the Barataria police station. With the help of an interpreter, officers recorded her statement, visited the crime scene, and obtained a CCTV footage. The victim was also medically examined at the El Socorro Health Center. The suspects are described as men of African descent, with one wearing a black jersey and blue jeans, and the other wearing a white vest and blue three-quarter pants. Internationally, in Thailand, a construction crane collapsed onto the Ramo 2 Road Elevated Express near Bangkok on Thursday, killing two people and trapping vehicles in the wreckage. Rescue teams were delayed due to unstable debris, and the accident came just a day after another crane fell on a moving passenger train in Nahon, Ratchasima, killing 32 people. Both incidents involve major infrastructure projects and have raised urgent concerns about construction safety in Thailand. These repeated incidents highlight ongoing issues with safety oversight and regulatory enforcement in the country's rapid infrastructure expansion. And that has brought us to the end of tonight's newscast. Remember to check out our Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok platforms at GOY TV9 for more trending stories. I'm Adana Doric. Good night.